Mesothelioma Lawsuit. People suffering from mesothelioma are provided with the legal right by Maryland law to file a mesothelioma lawsuit. Less than AHREC equals http://www.mesotheliomaattorneyfreeconsultation.com. Greater than mesothelioma less than /A greater than is a rare cancer that happens because of asbestos exposure. You are much more susceptible to this illness if you've worked wherever the chance of inhaling asbestos debris was high. For those who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may get compensation from the celebration accountable for your publicity to asbestos by way of a mesothelioma lawsuit. Mesothelioma is a critical disease, oftentimes generating its presence felt 20 or 30 years following exposure. You would like to commence the healthcare treatment immediately in order to have more than a 1-year vertical line 12 months survival rate. When submitting Georgia mesothelioma lawsuits, you should have a correct comprehending of all of the intricacies which are associated with filing lawsuits. Make sure you employ a qualified and skilled mesothelioma lawyer because only then are you able to attain success in your lawsuit. Mesothelioma, the disease of mesothelium, is a painful one mingled with costly treatment. Mesothelium is the overlaying made across the heart, lungs and different essential organs of human body. It protects the organs from injury when beating towards the body wall. Generally in case of involuntary muscles in human body, as located in heart, stomach, lungs, etc., the mesothelium performs essential role. In the course of respiration system the air is taken in, get purified in lungs and once again the contaminated blood filled with carbon dioxide is taken out. In the course of the mentioned purification process if any small or even microscopic particles are inhaled unexpectedly then those debris can't come out effortlessly from lungs handling or caught within the mesothelium. If such particles debris get accrued in big quantity in lungs, then it causes a lot kind of lungs related or cardiothoracic problems. In numerous cases it eventually results in cancer, known as mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is the infrequent cancer kind that occurs because of asbestos exposure. It's got an effect on the liner of the lungs and abdominal cavity. Mesothelioma is a deadly illness with a mean survival time of simply 12 months following diagnosis. Your survival rate may easily increase if it is diagnosed early. Mesothelioma litigations in Baltimore offer you an opportunity to file a case against a party that's accountable on your situation. No just one expects go to hospital following working with a firm that use asbestos within the manufacturing process. No one wish to handle an expensive lawyer in courtroom as it will take time, energy, productiveness time, not pointed out losses in all probability that would make employees pay additional money to organization who employ their situation much more over whether it is associated with asbestos mesothelioma case before. The courts claim mesothelioma is a malignant tumor of the mesothelium the result of publicity to asbestos fibers. There is several fundamental details just one ought to be mindful of if he is thinking about pursuing an asbestos mesothelioma lawsuit. Previous to pursuing a lawsuit, he ought to search advice from a respectable mesothelioma lawyer for a better comprehension of mesothelioma law. A mesothelioma lawsuit give you just one with enough compensation that will assist cover his legal, medical, and ongoing bills related to the mesothelioma cancer. The United States entitles people identified with mesothelioma to file a lawsuit against the errant company or companies. Mesothelioma, being a deadly sort of cancer, ruins the prospects of victims and their families. This efficiently signifies that mesothelioma lawsuits are essential, something that may mitigate the sufferings of the family. In the past, as a consequence of being exposed to an asbestos material, there have been circumstances when the mesothelioma melanoma sufferers have gotten thousands in reparation for their cancer diagnosis. Lately, mesothelioma lawsuits help those who have become unwell with this cancer by supplying the array of reimbursements. Several of those litigations have answered people who have been in touch with asbestos-linked substances at their workplace, and corporations are obliged to pay damages to their existing or former staff members for non-disclosure of the hazard entailed in touching asbestos-handling materials. Some fundamental elements must be taken under consideration by victims discovered to endure mesothelioma cancer and are capable of file a mesothelioma lawsuit. What are mesothelioma lawsuits and just how do they arise? $5 million continues to be recovered from your mesothelioma litigation filed on behalf of a 70-year-old man who passed far away from malignant mesothelioma. The man was exposed to mesothelioma causing asbestos at work. His profession called for fitting asbestos that contains ceiling tiles. He breathed in asbestos fibers launched by the tiles every day. The fibers have been launched whenever he reduced and in good shape the tiles. In addition, he was also exposed to asbestos from working alongside drywall installers who produced asbestos dust from using only asbestos that contains joint compound. Is mesothelioma curable? The straight answer to this query is no. Well, you will find drugs and treatments that assist in easing the pain sensation and should aid to extend life. However, these remedies aren't sufficient to save life. Mesothelium refers back to the wrapping structure of nearly all of the bodily organs in our system, and mesothelioma is the cancer that occurs in mesothelium. It has been reported that deaths attributable to mesothelioma cancer in England is increasing. According to at least one estimate, 2,249 men and women died from malignant mesothelioma in 2008, whereas 2,156 died from the sickness from 2006 to 2008. Northeastern England was the geographic area with the very best incidence of mesothelioma deaths. The male demise rate was 1 per million. Southeastern England adopted having a male death rate of 74 deaths per million people. The asbestos cancer mesothelioma is a threat to the lives of many Navy veterans. This really is as the Navy used asbestos-containing items extensively. Several instances of asbestos-containing goods are gaskets, adhesives, cables and valves. The areas of a ship wherever asbestos may have been present are several and take on boiler rooms, mess halls, engine rooms and navigation rooms. Ships involved a too high risk of asbestos exposure due to many areas on board ships are closed, which means that asbestos fibers can't escape. As such, asbestos fibers on board the ship are likely to be dealt with by ship personnel. You or a loved one has just been diagnosed with mesothelioma. Your mind and emotions are on the roller coaster ride, not understanding much if anything about this deadly cancer, and never knowing wherever to show for mesothelioma monetary help. There is a sis in the storm. Listed here are many methods to locate mesothelioma monetary aid whenever you require it after being diagnosed with mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is a deadly cancer that's the result of exposure to asbestos fibers, and this cancer can cut lifespan to a point of months from the onset of symptoms. Over recent years, the amount of mesothelioma instances coming to light has risen quite dramatically, as well as in line with this, the amount of mesothelioma litigations being filed has also increased. Due to mesothelioma lawsuits became such huge business, a lot law firms and lawyers now specialize during this area, generating it simpler for all those affected by this disease to obtain the legal assistance they have to file a mesothelioma lawsuit. http://www.mesotheliomaattorneyfreeconsultation.com. Francisco Rodriguez. About the author: do you need a mesothelioma lawyer?